Then we need the queen to arrest the baron. So first of all, we'll put the baron in a costume. Then he'll go scare the queen. He can put the costume back. The queen can tell the detective about this, so he'll check out the costume, get his fingerprints, and finally arrest him. Next up, we'll set it up where Mina gets a bite from Dracula, but she wants to get rid of her vampire powers, so she asks the professor for help. He tells John to go and stab Dracula, and now Mina is cured. And for some more monster stuff, we have Bernard, who's gonna turn into a werewolf, and Baron, who's gonna dress as a dragon. They both see each other, they're concerned, so Baron goes, gets a gun from the professor, and shoots Bernard. But we also want the dragon to die, so we'll just switch up a couple of the things so Bernard gets the weapon, and he can shoot the Baron. Then we have a chapter all about drama, and in this one we need Haiti to murder his father and marry his mother. So Tiny's gonna be the dad of Haiti, Tiny's gonna marry Peachy, but Haiti wants to marry Peachy, so he's gonna decide to push Tiny off a cliff, finally marry Peachy, and then learn that she's his mother. Now we need Tiny to avenge his brother, so we'll start out with some family, and we're gonna make Tiny and Greenie the sons of Haiti. After that, we can get Greenie and Haiti to get in a fight, so then Haiti pushes his son off a cliff. But we have a seance where Greenie can tell Tiny what happened, so Tiny will finally kill Haiti, getting his revenge for his brother. But then we need Haiti to get murdered by his own daughter, so this is gonna start with some family. Haiti is going to be the dad of Peachy, but then he's gonna be spying, he's gonna see that Peachy and Tiny are in love, but also Tiny and Greenie are having an affair. So Haiti is gonna push Tiny off the cliff, Tiny's ghost is gonna tell Peachy, and finally Peachy will kill her father, but he was doing it to protect her. And then for this story, we gotta get Tiny and Haiti to wait forever, so they'll just chill by the tree, and now it's time for the final chapter. These are all the longest stories, like for this one, where we need to get Edgar and Lenora to get married, but then Isabel wants to marry Edgar, so she's gonna poison the wine of Lenora. Lenora, of course, is gonna die, and then she's free to marry Edgar, but Edgar's gonna do a seance, Lenora's gonna tell him what happened, and he's gonna poison the wine, so Isabel finally dies, and Edgar murders his wife. Next, we gotta make Tiny murder his uncle to avenge his father. So right at the beginning, we're gonna make Bluey the father of both Haiti and Greenie. Then we can also make Greenie the father of Tiny, before having Greenie fall in love with Peachy, and Haiti wants to marry Peachy, so of course it's time for him to do some killing. We can set up our cliff seance cliff pattern, and then of course Haiti is gonna murder Greenie. Greenie is gonna tell this to Tiny in a seance, and Tiny's gonna get his revenge by murdering Haiti. Yeah, that's one of the most confusing puzzles in the game, but this one makes a bit more sense. The Duke's gonna be spying and seeing that the Duchess and the King are flirting, so he's gonna get a gun. But the Duchess is gonna see him shoot the King, and then the Duke is gonna see that the Duchess is talking to the detective, so before the detective can arrest him, he goes and shoots him too. And for our very last puzzle, we have the queen seeing that the king and the maid are having an affair. So we set up a ton of kidnaps, where first, the queen kidnaps the maid, the king rescues her, the king kidnaps the queen, and the knight rescues her, and then the knight kills the king, and the maid kills the queen, which, now that they're all alone, the knight and the maid get together. So finally, to finish out the speedrun, all we have to do is put the crown on that pedestal, and that's our time, 10:14, which is going to be third place on the leaderboards, and I'll take it. Alright, subscribe if you enjoyed. Bye.